Hello and welcome to the Kaiju is in the Details. I'm Ian.
I'm Haru.
And today we watched a movie that we probably shouldn't have watched. This was not a kaiju film.
No.
Why was this on my list?
Because I don't know.
It must have been in one of the books I was reading, but I don't know why. Because this was not a kaiju film.
So good news to you, listener. You do not have to watch this.
And I guess it is a strange creature. It certainly is a strange creature as it walks in and out of the camera.
It's literally the same shot every time.
It's
every single time.
Even when it's reversed, it's just the same shot but reversed.
Yeah.
And they just like cut up different parts of it to have either, because they have this one shot of the guy in the fucking Yeti costume walking from the darkness into the light and then into the camera, like getting so close that they go past the camera or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they just do that over and over again. And they cut it up in different ways, so it's like he's coming in from different distances, or they reverse it so he's moving out of the frame. Oh man. This one is so bad. I'm not even going to ask you what you think of it yet, because I'm so pissed about this stupid movie. I missed them.
Well, yeah, I kind of wish we were watching them.
Them has things happening.
This was an hour and 10 minutes of our life that we wasted.
I will never get this back. We will never get this back. And it's all because this happened to be in one of the books I was reading, and I don't know how to think about that. Maybe I need to vet these movies more. I need to go back through these lists and vet these movies more. Because this guy, where would you put him at on the wagon scale?
Not even
he's at least
one
wagon.
I wouldn't even go that far. I would say 3/4 of a wagon.
3/4 of a wagon.
He doesn't even deserve a single wagon.
This guy is like Frankenstein tall. I think the guy was on a little bit of stilts, and that's about it.
Yeah, they probably just reused the Frankenstein costume, which is why they never wanted to zoom in on the guy's face.
they were using the same stilts that the police guy from them was using to make him to compensate for his lack of height.
Yeah.
God, this sucked. This is such a nothing burger of a movie. Nothing happens in it except for racism.
And sexism.
This is the most racist and sexist movie we've watched yet, and that's saying something.
This movie hates non-white people, and it hates women.
Like, even if you're like, even the themes of it, the only theme here is racism.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even say misogyny is a theme because it's not like strong enough. It's just like, it just is misogynistic. It's not even.
But
the racism,
the misogyny is just casual. The racism is like the central point of everything.
Yeah,
it's just casual. Like it's a product of the times.
It's like if a movie was bad. Can you imagine that?
Oh God, I cannot imagine a movie being bad. Never. Never. Why would they even take the time and the money to put together a movie that was bad? Why would they do that?
That's a good question. We've got to break this movie down, I think, because otherwise we're not gonna have anything to talk about.
Mm-hmm. We're just gonna be ranting for the next 55 minutes.
So frame one of this movie is racist.
Mm-hmm.
They just instantly, bam, we're playing stereotypical Chinese music
over a map of like South Asia.
Yeah, all of South Asia, and then we zoom in on the Himalayas.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of painted mountains that look like dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
All the effects in this movie are terrible. The monster looks awful. The painted mountains look terrible. The snow is probably asbestos. Uh,
Yeah.
at least we know everyone in this film, died from asbestos,
Yeah.
mesothelioma.
Yeah.
Everyone involved with making this, but
Small
includes,
victories.
that does include all the people playing the Sherpas,
Mm-hmm.
who are
Who
not
are all
not
Japanese.
Sherpas. They're Japanese, and they're speaking Japanese.
So like, I think what went on there was they like, other than the fact that the creators of this film are just like all Asian people are the same,
Yeah.
but like, I think what they like, they didn't want to make up anything, and they didn't want to hire anyone that actually spoke like a language that Sherpas speak. So they were just like, hey, all you Japanese actors that we hired, just speak in your native language and no one will notice.
And they do.
And everyone noticed, because during the time frame when this movie was made was when we had a lot of Americans in Japan.
These motherfuckers are saying arigato.
Like, no one is not going to notice that these people are Japanese. They didn't even try.
No.
It is literally just straight up all Asian people are the same.
Yeah. You want a fun fact?
Is it a fun fact?
Kinda. Subra, who is the main Sherpa leader guy, is played by Teru Shimada.
Mm-hmm.
Who also played a bit part in the 1960s Batman.
Oh.
There's your fun fact.
Interesting.
That's all I got for you.
That's the only thing fun about this movie.
Yeah.
Is that one of the characters was also involved in a classic Batman movie.
Okay, I got another fun fact for you.
Uh-huh.
The first half of the movie takes place in an undisclosed Himalayan country, so we're not even like trying to be like, oh, it's in this one, no, it's just a random Himalayan country. And then the return flight the main characters take heads west from India to California.
Oh my god, they didn't even think the world is round. They
went west instead of east.
That is not the shortest route.
Me when I have to stop in fucking Saudi Arabia, and then I have to stop in France, and then I have to stop in DC, and then I have to stop in Chicago, and then I get to California finally.
Oh no! It's that one. Oh, which politician was it that always took Turkish Airlines or some shit?
Eric Adams.
Yes. They had to take Turkish Airlines back home, so they had to stop in Constantinople, and then they.
This guy's taking bribes from the Turkish government.
Yep.
This movie is like full of padding. I would say it is probably like 75% padding.
Yeah.
It's so padded. It is more padded than an insane asylum. It is more padded than any movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's more padded than Inuyasha.
This movie is so padded that it forgets it's supposed to get to the point.
It's like, what is the point in this? Like, what is the point of this movie?
The point of the movie is to kill a creature from a non-white part of the world and then go home and celebrate the birth of your son and name it after the guy that helped kill the creature.
God, that ending is so weird. It's so weird.
It is such a tone shift. Like, cause they established this creature has a family. This creature has a
creature
mate
has
and a child
that it killed by making a rock slide for no reason.
Yeah, and then they just straight up kill the creature, and then complete 180 tone shift. It's like, hey, your son is born, and
Well, they try to do like a fake out jump scare.
yeah,
of,
they
like,
do.
Is there another creature?
Yeah.
Oh, there is a creature. It's called your son.
Yeah. Oh,
In Ohio.
Turns out we were the real creatures all along.
So this movie has a lot of rock climbing padding, much like the movie Lost Continent. One that I considered doing for this, but it's really more of a dinosaur film than a kaiju film, which makes it more of a kaiju film than this film. But I digress. Wait, the photographer! I just realized the photographer just kind of dropped out of the movie, huh?
I
forgot
about
like the main two white guys. There's a scientist and a photographer.
Yeah.
That are on this expedition, and they get like shanghaied by the Sherpas.
Completely forgot about the photographer.
It sucks, dude. Oh, but yeah. So they like capture the Yeti, and scientist guy is like, we're gonna take him in for study, and then the photographer is like, nah, man, let's sell him, and then the scientist guy is like, nope. Anyways, Mr. Consulate Man, don't let this guy near my fucking Yeti. And then he's out of the film for the rest of the movie. Except for like one little thing where he sold the picture of the Yeti and called it the Snowman. And that made people be like, well, what the hell's going on here? And that's like the only thing that comes of him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But let's get more into this mutiny, because I think this is probably the most interesting part of the film.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, for one, Mr. Photographer Man likes his scotch, and for some reason, Mr. Scientist Man is like, don't let them see you drinking that, and don't give them any.
Yeah.
I guess because it's just indigenous people and booze, it's just stereotype bullshit. I don't know. But then the Yeti attacks the camp, or no, he steals Subra's wife, which was very. I thought Subra was gonna die, but it turns out Subra's wife was the one that was gonna die. So
yeah,
I knew someone was gonna die in that scene where they were saying goodbye to each other for so long.
Yeah, Subra's wife is the first casualty of casual misogyny in this film.
Yeah, because Yetis steal my woman.
Like, it is like, why is the Yeti after women? Why is it specifically women?
Do not understand this, because you would think like, it's like a metaphor for how these people, these white supremacist assholes, think that non-white people are always after white women. But no, because the Yeti has no interest in no sexual interest in these women at all.
No.
The Yeti seems to, and it has a woman of its own. It has a female Yeti and a child. Like, it seems like the Yeti just likes to kill women for no reason.
I don't know what even is the motivation? Like, I don't understand.
There's none. The motivation is that women in refrigerators get results. That's all they wanted to do, is put women in refrigerators. So the Yeti has a thing where it kills women. Done. That's all I need. My story is written.
Yeah.
I successfully written the story. Give me money now. These fuckers are so mean to these Sherpas, these white ass motherfuckers. They're so fucking mean.
Yeah.
And then because of that, we get the line. So Subra's brother comes and like tells Subra that the Yeti took his woman, and so he comes and goes to the white guys and says, "Yeti took my woman." That's a quote. They're not allowed to speak in complete sentences, and they have to talk in third person too.
And it's always with a thick Japanese accent.
Yeah,
because they're Japanese.
but these white guys are like, nah, you can't do that. You can't go hunt for the Yeti. We paid $1,000 for this. That's so much money.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a fucking monologue where the guy's like, because of my decisions, I feel that Subra resented and disliked me.
Yeah. It's like, no shit, you treat someone like shit and they won't like you.
So the Sherpas decide to go track down the Yeti anyways, because of course they do. And these white fucking assholes are like, okay, we'll just shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
We could just shoot you if you decide to leave.
Casual racism.
like these guys. So what ended up happening is these guys end up mutinying. They actually stole the bullets away, which is actually fucking based. That's so fucking cool. I love that. But they end up like mutinying and taking over the expedition to go find the Yeti instead of doing what is apparently botany. They're apparently doing botany. This guy's a fucking botanist in the Himalayas.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess there's plants up there.
there's
But you sure don't see
like,
any in this expedition, in this movie.
Yeah, because they couldn't be bothered to do any sort of research on like what kind of plant life might grow on mountains.
Or put any plants in their asbestos studio.
Yeah.
But like as soon as this mutiny happens, they're like, "Oh, we gotta use the radio to notify the police." But when the guys are just like, "Oh, we're some of us are just gonna leave," they're like, "No, I'm gonna shoot you if you don't work for me.
Yeah.
If you don't carry my shit, I'm gonna shoot you to death." Like, what the fuck, dude? The entitlement in this movie is insane. The white entitlement is crazy.
Which is why the mutiny is the best part, and it's also the most entertaining part of this entire movie.
Yeah, yep. And we got padding of them trying to set up the radio to call the police, but then Subra just fucking shoots the damn thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fucking cool. Subra is great. I love Subra.
Subra is the best character.
Subra is based and communist pilled, and then at this point in the movie, I wrote boring ass fuck movie. This was like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, this movie it wasn't good. It wasn't entertaining. It was just like it wasn't even that long, but it felt long.
It really felt it was like an hour and 10 minutes, but it feels like twice that at least.
And it's because they don't fucking do anything in the entire movie.
They don't do anything. They are wandering around in the snow for half the movie. And then they're sitting in an office talking about the Yeti for the second half of the movie.
Yeah. It's not even entertaining. Even the supposed climax of the movie is not...
Which is just them. They're just in the sewers again.
They're just walking around, like... with flashlights.
It's like if Them was bad. It was like, oh, you thought Them was not as good as it could have been? Well, let me show you how bad it could really be.
It's like, okay, I'm starting to rethink how I felt about the second half of Them.
I think the second half of Them was actually a masterpiece in comparison to this piece of crap.
The second half of Them is actually entertaining and captivating, and oh my
movie.
God, they did a good job with it.
By the way, this Yeti looks like dog shit. Let's talk about that now.
Which is why they don't want to show it.
They don't want to show it to you. The half of the time, it just kind of looks like a guy in a parka.
And
the other half of the time, it looks even worse than that.
It's a silhouette most of the time. And a few times they do manage to show a little bit more detail, but like they never want to show you the entire thing because they know it doesn't look good.
The best view you get of it is actually during the hunt for the Yeti in the Himalayas, where you get to see it against the white snow. And it's just like standing there, like throwing rocks at them and like stumbling around.
Yeah.
It looks so fucking bad, dude.
And literally, like, from the moment it started throwing rocks, that's when I started just questioning, what's its motivation?
What is it doing?
Like,
Why is it doing any of this?
Why is the Yeti even attacking them in the first place? Other than racism.
Like, they insist that this thing is an animal, but it doesn't behave like an animal.
No.
It behaves like a person who wants to kill people.
Yeah. And they don't even explore its motivation at all. Like, I could see them, like, try to come up with some, like, oh, we're encroaching on its territory, or, oh, it's trying to defend its, like, kid and spouse. Well, probably not spouse, but, like, partner. But no, they don't even bother trying to make up an excuse. It's just like, it's a Yeti, so it attacks people.
Yeah, and it wants to be in a cold place. That's all you get, really.
Mm-hmm.
And they also use that same footage of the Yeti on the mountains twice as well. Don't you worry. We're recycling every bit of Yeti footage we got.
They only recorded like 3 Yeti scenes and decided to just make that the entire movie.
Yeah. And also when they find the Yeti in the cave, it's like the guy that's in the Yeti suit is like standing straight up still, and it looks so fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like got his legs locked. He's like at attention, right?
Yeah.
It's so weird. And then he just causes a rock slide on himself for no reason.
Yeah, that scene...
And it kills the other Yetis.
That scene was confusing.
Extremely confusing.
Like, half confusing because I don't know what's even going on, and half confusing because why did he fucking do that?
And, like, I also, at first, I didn't know, like, what was going on as far as, like, the female, whether the female was a female Yeti or the guy's wife that they were looking for the entire time.
Mm-hmm. This movie doesn't make sense. And trying to make any sense of this movie is just causing a headache. Like,
yeah. Speaking of headaches, the Yeti gets knocked out by the fucking falling rocks, and they like use that as the opportunity to capture the Yeti and take it back. And I'm like, I was saying to Haru, like, how are they keeping this thing asleep? And then they literally have a scene where the Yeti wakes up in the middle of the night and they just bop him on the head with a gun.
like they're all sleeping in the tent with the unconscious Yeti, and then the Yeti starts to move and like puts his hand on a guy's face, and they all scream and they all panic, and then they beat the Yeti and falls asleep again. Like,
this thing is gonna have super CTEs by the time they get home. Like, God, this thing's brain is pudding. And then they're just allowed to take the Yeti home for some reason. They have this whole scene where, like, the consulate of this undisclosed Himalayan country is just like, yeah, we love when people come and take our shit. So go ahead and take our shit.
Yeah.
We actually really love it when you do that. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's just more racism. More like it's an Eastern country opening their arms to Western colonialism and say, no, it's perfectly fine. You can have all of our stuff. Thank you, actually, for taking care of it for us.
Extremely funny thing though, the leader of the Sherpas comes in and is like, hey, I wanted to talk to you. He doesn't apologize for doing the mutiny. He's just like, I'm realizing that I don't actually know if that was the same Yeti that took my wife, even though I found her bracelet or whatever in his cave.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know if that was the same Yeti. And that's all he says. And then the guy's like, okay, I'm not going to press charges against you. Like, weird, but okay. I'm glad you're not doing that.
Yeah.
And then we get to we get this idea of like the scientist and this photographer. They hate the Sherpas, but they also hate each other for some reason. Everyone hates everyone in this movie. Nobody likes each other. Except for the police officer and the scientist guy. They're like a little too into each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Maybe... I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe just being out on an expedition in the snowy mountains for so long just makes you hate the people that you're around.
I mean, to be fair, they both suck, so...
Yeah.
We get a brief 9-second cameo of the doctor's wife before she's ushered out of the film. And the doctor says, "Instead of flowers, I brought you a Yeti." That's what the natives call him.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great dialogue, dude. Awesome. They're keeping him in a refrigerator. They're keeping him in a refrigerator, just like a regular ass refrigerator. And it's like a coffin sized refrigerator
with a window in it.
Yeah. And nothing to prevent him from wobbling it back and forth until it falls down. Which is exactly what he does.
It literally didn't occur to anyone at all. If you're gonna restrain this thing, you gotta actually restrain it.
Yeah.
You can't just put it in a box and call it a day.
And we've got like a really pointless scene of the doctor being like, "Well, he's not a man." And everyone going like, "Well, I'd like to run some tests on him." And then he goes like, "Well, he's not a man though." And they're like, "Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that shit, dude. I said I want to run some tests on him to test his cognitive behavior."
It is just straight up the whole like Twitter meme of like people will just like disagree with you on some shit even though it has nothing to do with what you just said.
The fucking I like pancakes. So you're saying you hate waffles?
Yep. It's exactly that. It is. So you say you hate waffles? No, that's an entirely different sentence.
That's a whole other sentence. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's like, I want to run some tests. Well, it's not human. That's good for you. That's another sentence.
It's awesome, dude. You said something. You really said something. The Yeti escapes, police get involved, and for some reason we get this long diversion of one police guy talking about how the other police guy has a pregnant wife. And it's like, oh, they're setting up a Chekhov's gun here. I'm sure that's
gonna come up again. It's gonna be relevant.
Anyways, onward we go to more shots of the Yeti walking into the camera. And then we get the strangest shot of the movie. There's a slow panning shot across the cityscape. And it's just moving to the right. And it goes for quite a while. And then we hear like a woman scream, and then it starts panning back. Like it interrupts the panning right, and then it starts panning to the left, and it just keeps panning, and it pans like it's got to be something like over 180 degrees for sure. So we're breaking the 180 rule, but that's usually not for this kind of shot, anyways. But like it's really insane that it pans. When it changes direction, it continues panning slowly, and there's just like dialogue happening in the background of like a guy and a woman arguing as it slowly pans to see what's actually going on. It's insane. It's unconscionable. I don't understand this shot.
Yeah.
Haru, make it make sense, please.
They needed to pan out to pad out the movie even more to make it hit the runtime. And so they just decided to do an extremely long shot and make the shot that's already extremely long even longer. And they ran out of room on the camera, so they were just like, let's start painting it back now.
I swear they must have reversed the footage to get that pan back.
Yeah.
But that scene, the only thing it reminds me of is fucking Paranormal Activity. I think it's the third one, the third Paranormal Activity, where the guy straps the camera to one of those rotating fans for no fucking reason. So you can get those tension shots where it's like you see something, the camera pans, and then it pans back, and then something's different. Wah! The Paranormal Activity movies suck, dude.
I kind of want to watch them now, honestly.
They're so bad.
They're probably better than this movie.
That is true. There's things happen in them. And then we get like we get another thing, another really weird shot. Or more a series of shots that like they're like really stretching the Kuleshov effect here, which we explained in the last episode. So just go back and listen to that. But they have a shot of that lady walking away from the argument.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a shot of the Yeti coming into the camera again. That same shot they've been using over and over again.
Yep.
And then it cuts to black, and a scream happens. And the scream also kind of sounds like a police siren. So you think it's going to be interrupted by like the police siren coming, and then the woman's dead. But then it cuts to the woman running into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And like telling the bar guy to call the police. Very, very confusing shot.
Yeah.
Or a series of shots.
And I'm with you on that too. It sounded like they were trying to do the scream fading into a siren.
Mm-hmm. It really did.
But it was all just the scream.
Yeah, and then she tells the bar person to call the police, and then we get cut to the police headquarters where they're like, "Well, this doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, it was weird. It could have been kind of interesting if they had decided to actually do that, but no, it just kind of like, it's weird to be disappointed by it, but I was disappointed by it.
It feels like they like didn't have all the footage they wanted or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking though, with like all the reverse shots that they did. I think they just shot the film, put it all together, realized they didn't have enough runtime, and just put some shots in reverse.
Film critic Leonard Maltin awarded this film 1.5 out of possible 4 stars, calling it dull. Do you know how bad a movie has to be for Leonard Maltin to give it 1.5 stars?
I mean,
pretty fucking bad.
That
guy gives 3 stars to shit like Gorgo.
Like, honestly, dull is the perfect word to summarize this movie with.
A reviewer for the TV Guide also called the film's monster costume phony. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm glad.
The
I'm glad to hear.
It's just King Kong, right?
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
It's just King Kong, but with the ending of fucking them.
I am glad to hear that film critics are on the same page as we are, and this movie is shit and not interesting.
I will say, film critics oftentimes are going to be our enemies on this podcast because we're going to like the films more than they are a lot of times, particularly Godzilla films, because a lot of film critics are afraid of liking Godzilla films because they think it'll make them look like bad, like they have bad taste or something, because they're cowards, and they don't have conviction in their ideals. But some of them, like Leonard Maltin, are a lot more like honest with their feelings. And sometimes we're really going to align, especially on these fucking American films. Because some of these really suck.
Yeah.
Not that some of the Japanese films aren't going to suck as well, but a lot more of the American ones suck than the Japanese ones too, I've got to say.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because these American ones are cash grabs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that some of the Japanese ones aren't cash grabs too. Some of the Godzilla films are cash grabs. But there's a certain quality level you need to achieve to do like the Godzilla effects.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hiring like Subaraya Productions, there's a certain quality level they're going to put into the films, no matter how low a budget you give them.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they had to stop making the damn movies for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the budget, they couldn't lower the budget any further without making the movies look like dog shit. But these American ones is like, these are made to not actually be watched. So that's the thing, is like the cheap Godzilla films are made to be watched by children.
Mm-hmm.
These movies are not designed to be watched. You're supposed to be in a drive-in theater with your sweetheart, and you're supposed to be making out the entire time.
This is
and not paying attention to the movie.
You make a really good point. These are the first Netflix and chill movies. They're literally not designed to actually be consumed.
This is designed to be a double feature with The Lost Continent, and you're not supposed to pay attention at all.
They're designed to be background noise while you do your girlfriend. Like,
have fun having sex in the car.
Like, yeah.
Hi,
no.
Haru's mom.
Hi, Mom.
My new running gag.
But yeah, no, like yeah, no, like you do make a good point there, like, because there's no way in hell that this movie was actually like, no one went out of their way, saw that what's this movie called? Thing in the Ice?
The snow creature.
The snow creature. There's no way that someone just saw a poster for the snow creature and was like, yeah, I want to go see that. No, what they do is they went to a drive-in theater that just so happened to be showing a double feature, and this is the movie that they did not sign up for. And so they don't pay attention to it. And this is the only way that they managed to sell the movie, is as a double feature in drive-in theaters.
Pretty much. Did you know that this film is believed to be the first American film about the Yeti?
Well,
I'm now reading the trivia on IMDb.
Because
I'm bored.
I mean, that's an interesting point of trivia, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's another thing on the IMDb trivia page. 60% of this movie is film of people just walking, hiking, and running.
That is also, I mean...
that seems like a low number, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be at least 70 or 80%, but like... it's also hilarious that is the trivia.
That's in the trivia section of IMDb.
Like it's another point of we are on the same page of the critics. Like, like they really did just have to measure out, like, okay, seriously, how fucking padded out were these shots?
Now I'm on the goof section where all the errors happen. Okay, so when Dr. Parrish and Lieutenant Dunbar are talking with City Engineer Edwards, the clock on the wall says 5:50, but when Edwards looked at his watch, it reads 3:40. I hope someone was fired for that blunder.
Yeah, that's the biggest blunder of the film. If they hadn't done that, this film would have been spot on. Perfect.
Okay, so the
no notes.
The fake snow is actually wet foam, it appears, not asbestos. So that's neat.
Okay, so they didn't die of cancer. They died of something else. Old age, probably. But or cigarettes, actually. No, it was definitely cigarettes.
In the full body scenes of the Yeti, it is clear the size of a normal human, but in close-ups of only the arm is several times thicker than that of a human. That is true, actually.
Yeah.
There are several scenes where the Yeti looks much larger than it is in the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
and that's why I was like, oh, maybe it is a kaiju for a second at one point.
Yeah.
And then it was like, clearly not.
Because, like, in the scenes where it's standing, like, it's standing on top of the cliff, and like it's just kind of a silhouette and it's throwing rocks, it seems so much more just like a guy in a suit, and like it's not even much of a suit, it's just like an outfit, like,
Yeah.
and
Versus the scene where it grabs the woman from behind and you have just like the arm in the frame, that like model arm or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, like the scene where it grabbed the woman, the scene where it grabbed, like, where it woke up in the tent and grabbed the person's face, and the scene where it grabbed the piece of meat in the meat freezer. Like, all those scenes, the arm looks so much bigger than it does from the full body shots.
What a weird movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they make this?
I think we already covered that.
But like why though? But like why though?
I feel like we can't even use the capitalism defense here, because
I'm trying to find how much money this thing made, and I cannot find it.
Because at least Son of Kong had entertaining moments, and at least I was engaged enough to follow along in the plot of, I don't remember the water one that we watched. The like it came from
the ocean floor.
From the ocean floor, yeah. Like, I was at least engaged enough with the plot in that one, but this was just a waste of an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. Folks, this one's really bad. Don't watch this shit. Like, legitimately don't watch it. It's not even a kaiju film.
We shouldn't have even watched it. This episode should have been Godzilla, actually.
It should have been Godzilla. But instead we tease you for another episode.
It's okay though. We're doing a setup here where we do a really shitty film so that you can enjoy us talking about how much we love Godzilla in the next episode.
That's true. I guess other things in the movie, there were some butchers and they made Three Stooges noises when they saw the Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It was pretty good. I thought the Yeti was going to be climbing buildings to get around, but apparently it was just going through the fucking sewer system like an ant.
Yep.
Like a giant ant.
It's them.
The reason why they figured that out, though, is because there's just like a guy outside their office sweeping trash into the storm drain.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Don't do that shit, dog.
Like, was that a thing that
Use a dustpan?
Like, was that a thing that people actually did in the 50s? I
guess. Maybe.
But it was also just so weird, like, because they were trying to brainstorm, like, oh, how does he get by without being detected? He's a big furry creature and everyone's gonna notice him. And then he just kind of like looks out the window on a whim and sees some guy sweeping trash into the storm drain, and he's like, he's going through the storm drain. Aha!
He's going through the tunnel.
And then the other guy's like, what do you mean? It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
From what I've learned from movies, we should be monitoring the sewers of California nonstop, 24/7. For monsters.
There better be surveillance cameras down there.
And then when in the climax of the movie is mostly Scooby-Doo shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of wandering around, and a lot of the Yeti just like, going right around the corner.
Like the climax of the movie was they really went all out with recycling that same exact footage of the Yeti zooming in and zooming out.
It's just,
and then like
you get some scenes of it walking down one tunnel and being like, "Oh, can't see me now." And then you have these two fuck doofuses just wandering down these tunnels, and you almost have like a cool shot of them with their lantern, and that's the only thing lighting them up. And it makes this like circle on the tunnel walls. But you're watching this movie, so it's not cool at all, actually.
Yeah.
They catch the netty They catch the netty in a yet. And
and that about summarizes the movie.
Yep. He's in a net. I almost said yet again. The fucking netty. He's in a yet.
I think this movie might have fried your brain
A little bit. They catch him in a net, and then he's still like overpowering them, and so they have to fucking shoot him with a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor isn't like, "Oh no, you killed him! I told you not to kill him." No, he's just like, oh, "Okay, send this to the other doctor guy who wanted to examine his brain."
Yeah.
Anyways, want to go get lunch? And the police guy's like, "Yeah, sure." No, actually, what happens is that they get the stupid jump scare dispatch call, and the Chekhov's gun of the pregnant wife comes back around. They're like, "Oh, there's a creature, reporting a creature here." It's like, "No, we got the creature." It's like, "Yeah, but this one's your son."
Oh
waka,
no!
Waka.
Whoa!
Waka waka waka.
And then it does the 180 of, "Oh, you just murdered this innocent creature? Well, you have a baby boy now! Yay!"
I figured out how to fix this movie, Haru.
Uh-huh.
You make it Muppets.
I mean, yeah. It would at least be entertaining that way.
Hey, Kermit! I think I'll name my boy after you. Gee, Fozzie, I think that's a pretty neat idea. And we're Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
Snow creature. By the end of the movie, there wasn't one.
There's nothing else to say about this.
There's nothing else to say about this.
And we've got 10 more minutes in the podcast.
There's 10 more minutes in the podcast. Probably more than 10 minutes, because I've been cutting out some of the, like, whatever dead air there is.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? You know what, listeners? This is exactly what we felt when we watched the movie. It's like, how is there more to this?
Film preservation hasn't been kind to this movie, I will say. The copy of the movie we watched was like dog shit, and I think it's the only copy you could find. We found it on the Internet Archive. I also saw it on YouTube. I think it's a public domain movie. Which means I might watch it on stream sometime, but I probably won't because it's very boring.
Yeah.
There wasn't even like a lot to make jokes about. Like, it's not even like a so bad it's good kind of deal. I just think it's boring.
Yeah. Like, there were moments where we were just kind of like chatting a little bit because we had to fill the deadness of the...
There was... You probably saw me repost stuff on Blue Sky while I was watching this movie.
And I was checking. I was busy checking Discord, and
I was not locked in.
If a movie fails to capture the attention of a person with ADHD, it has failed. Like, it is not a good movie.
Yeah.
You got to keep us constantly stimulated. I don't know what else to tell you.
Remember how at the end of Monster from the Ocean Floor, I told you to just make art? And I told all our audience to just make art, because you too can make something important. I changed my mind. Don't do that shit. Don't make this kind of shit. If you're gonna make art, you gotta make it good. Please, God, don't make them. Just don't make it boring, please, dear Lord.
Oh, that reminds me of another meme. It's the like, I don't remember the exact meme, but it's like a teacher, like an art teacher, and she's like, "Remember, kids, all art is art, except what Billy drew. What Billy drew is shit." Like that's this film right here. It's all art is art except this.
This is
This is the
nothing.
opposite of art. That's the line. That's the line that they say in the meme. This is the opposite of art.
I'm having a brain blast.
Oh yeah.
This film is Dadaist art. It is anti-art.
Mm.
In the wake of World War I, there came an art movement that decided that a species capable of the horrors of World War I could not possibly deserve art, and thus deserved the opposite of art.
Mm.
This is Dada.
I mean, that's a better explanation for why this film exists than anything else we've come up with.
No, it's
and
not.
I think
Dada's interesting.
And
this isn't.
And it's giving the film creators way too much credit.
It is. But you know what? It sure was a funny joke that took up a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I need a Iain groan compilation.
Yeah.
Groan and sigh compilation from all the episodes of Kaiju in the Details where we watched a shitty ass movie and I end up going, ugh.
I would listen to that on loop.
Gross.
What can I say? You know, the sounds that just make me entertain, and like
No, keep digging.
I you know, it's cool stuff, you know, it's content
by cool people.
Yeah,
that's my new podcast. Cool stuff by cool people.
I love that podcast. Are you an anarchist?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I've been listening to so much Cool Zone media lately. It's good stuff. Hey.
It's cool stuff made by cool people.
Yep. Hey, listeners.
That's my new podcast.
Hey, listeners, you should absolutely check out Cool Zone Media. Not sponsored, by the way, though please do invite us on as guests at some point.
They should sponsor us. I think it's a really valuable market they're missing out on.
Yeah, no, like or maybe Cool Zone Media will someday invite us on as one of their shows.
That's so true.
I'm sure we've got that kind of reach and influence, right?
I mean, like, if Paul F. Tompkins can get on there, surely I can get on there, right?
Yeah, you've got connections. You're like, what, one person removed from MBT?
I'm not one person removed from MBT. I'm there. I'm him. No. But you know, I've worked with the man.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I don't know what that has to do with Robert Evans, but
no, but you know how like all creators are like, you know,
they all have their group chats.
We're all three people removed from each other, you know. So
you know how every big YouTuber and online creator in general all have like one big group chat where they trade adrenochrome.
I mean, that's how Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and I don't know what's the third big creator's name.
Yeah, they all are on the same Discord and they trade adrenochrome.
They live in the same house together. Like they're roomies.
We gotta make a content house. We're not gonna make a content house.
But yeah, no, like yeah, I'm sure if you read like it, you could probably make a Blue Sky post right now. Hey, Robert Evans, reach out to me, and I'm sure it'd make its rounds.
I'm not gonna do that. Not even for the bit.
You have too much respect for the guy.
You know I'm not gonna do that, right, Haru? You know I'm not gonna do that, right? I wouldn't even do that to Golden Nova, my friend. I don't. That's like one weird thing for me is like because Blue Sky for so long didn't have DMs. It became like part of the culture a little bit to just like at people out of the blue and to talk to them.
I mean, that's
just insane.
That was kind of already the case with Twitter. Like, if someone would have their DMs closed, people would just like, randomly at you. Like, in my early days of Twitter, when I just started VTubing, we're not even talking about the movie anymore. Fuck the movie.
Fuck the movie.
In my early days of VTubing, I occasionally got some random person just adding me in like open Twitter space, just at Haru Hayes. Hey, like here's something want to chat or something like it. Like I don't even remember the kind of stuff they even asked me.
That's when I use the kill button.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of culture just never died. But I mean, I hadn't had that in such a long time, though, is the thing. Like, it was pretty much my first. Maybe it's because I ended up blocking them all. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll get someone who ats me in like a thread, like in a reply to someone, and you're like, hey, can you do this, figure this out or whatever, and then like half the time I've already blocked that person that they're replying to, and it's like, oh, okay, you didn't need to blow up my spot like that, but okay. So in other words, The Snow Creature is a movie that was made in the 1940s or 50s, and it is a movie that exists and is one that you could watch but probably shouldn't.
It's not worth your time.
All in all, I give this a 1.5 out of 4.
Well, glad you agree with the critics.
I agree with Leonard Maltin specifically.
I mean, I have one thing to say about this movie, and that's that it is dull.
It is dull. I think sometimes film preservation goes too far. The thing with lost media is like some lost media is lost for a reason. You know, there is no reason you should seek this out because it is too horrific behind the minds of humanity to comprehend. And some lost media should be lost because it's boring as shit and no one should waste their time on it. It's like when people call commercials lost media. I'm like, dog, it's a commercial. Who gives a shit? We're just rambling about anything now. This is the Talk About Anything podcast now.
Welcome to Haru and Iain chat.
I mean, the title of the podcast is The Kaiju is in the Details. There are no details here. This is a vague-ass movie.
Yeah.
Everything that happens here is vague.
It's...
Even the action is vague.
What action?
Exactly! What details are there to get into? I guess, like, Hey Haru, let's talk about the themes of the movie.
Racism
Racism.
and racism.
It's like if you took the racism themes from King Kong and left everything else behind, and we really wanted to dig into the racism themes of King Kong.
Yeah.
What if King Kong was more racist? Bum, 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 and also bad, and also very poorly made.
Because like
what if King Kong didn't have any artistry in it at all?
Because like take away the racism, and King Kong actually holds up. Like
it legitimately is a beautiful movie. It's the best one we've watched so far.
And this one is just like, okay, let's do that same exact movie and make it not watchable.
What if King Kong was a bad movie? What if a movie was bad, Haru? What then?
Oh god, the horrors. I can't even imagine.
But we did imagine. We did.
I don't know about you, but my imagination was dead. Just killed, murdered by this movie.
You know, sometimes people say that we should be nicer to slop. And I think if you don't go hard on shit like Marvel movies and crap like that, this is the kind of film you get.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't criticize slop, you're gonna get worse slop, like this.
Yeah.
Anyways, go watch Madam Web or something. It's better than this.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Morbius, you know?
I'm morbing out. Morbius has more art than this film does.
It does.
The meme about Morbius has more art than this does.
Like the Yeti didn't even say I'm gonna morb.
I'm gonna Yeti out.
It's Yeti time.
And then Yeti'd all over him. He didn't do that shit. He just threw rocks.
Oh, it would have been a better movie.
He should have Yeti'd all over him. It's the problem. The thing about it is he should have Yeti'd all over them.
Yeah.
You want to get out of here, Haru?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for listening to the Kaiju in the Details. Sorry, I've run a YouTube channel for 4 years now. It's hard to get used to saying listen instead of watch. Thank you so much for listening to the Kaijus in the Details, a podcast about nothing. Apparently. Next time is going to be a podcast about something, though, because it's Godzilla time, baby. Get ready for 5 episodes in a row of Godzilla. It's Godzilla-thon.
Let's go! Or should I say, let's go!
Let's go, Godzilla! Woo!
Cow, cow, cow! Half of you listeners aren't even going to know who I'm referencing with that.
Most of them won't, I don't think, because they're all on the Them Body In channel.
Yeah.
As far as the numbers go, I've been looking at the numbers on the actual podcast apps, and man, we're not getting many. But you can help fix that by sharing around the podcast. It's really the only way we get shown around on podcast apps. The YouTube algorithm has not been particularly kind to us, but at least it's something. But you can help us by sharing it around to people you think might like the podcast. I greatly appreciate that.
Like if you know someone who likes reviews of classic movies, or if you know someone who likes kaijus, or if you just know someone who has an hour-long commute and needs something to listen to, shoot us their way.
If you know someone who really likes boring ass nothing movies like The Snow Creature, send them our way so we can, I just want to talk. Haru, where can people find you?
You can find me as Haru Hayes. That's HaruHaze. Pretty much on every social media except Instagram or Facebook, because fuck those places. But, you know, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on... Well, I have a Twitter, I don't use it anymore. And Blue Sky is the only place that's different. It's haru.vspire.live, but everywhere else is the same, Haru Haze. And that's where you can find me, where I stream rarely.
And you can find me at Thempire Ian, wherever I may roam. You can additionally find this podcast at Thempod Ian. That's my YouTube channel for podcasts. And you can also go to Tomb of Thempire Ian for Let's Plays. The main channel is mainly for Yu-Gi-Oh! And video essays of the like. You could also, of course, Blue Sky, Twitter, whatever. I'm on social media for as long as it'll be around.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be sticking around for too much longer. We'll see.
Elon Musk is going to buy it all up and kill it.
Elon Musk is killing Twitter. Blue Sky's trusted safety team is killing Blue Sky. It's a fun time to be a trans person online, let's say. But, Thempire Ian, you'll find me just about anywhere. Including on Twitch, where I stream every Sunday night, 10 p.m. I also, I do stream public domain movies on there, so if you like me talking about movies, it might be a good place to check it out.
Yeah.
But, I think that wraps everything up. That's all the plugs we need to be doing. So I think it's time to say goodbye to the Yeti. Sayonara, Yeti.
Sayonara, Yeti.
Rest in piss.